Yeah.
5 times.
Yeah, we get when we were doing live streams of like History at High Noon, we would get kicked off, and I but we have a quorum, so we can go, Ken.
All right. I'd like to call the March 27th Library Board meeting to order. If everyone's had an opportunity to review the minutes from February 28th, I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
It's been moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor of approving the minutes from the February 28th board meeting?
I'm sorry, I was
Oh, sorry.
getting the minutes going. Who
Moved and
moved? Right,
seconded.
okay,
Second.
okay.
Terry. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. And motion carries. Sorry, I can slow down, Chris.
Oh, no, it's fine, it's fine. I just
All right.
hit the clock to see when we got started.
Okay, so the financial reports.
Okay. Just a little bit of explanation on the financial reports. I got the invoice register this morning, and it's a little bit different than the old register. The old register and the old system gave us a list of everything that had been paid. This register gives us a list of every invoice that's been submitted. Not necessarily approved, because it's a two-step process. Donia puts them in, I approve them, and then they get paid. This is everything that Donia has submitted. So I had to go back and redo a few things because there were some things I hadn't approved yet, and then so as far as the I think the first thing you guys have, let me pull it up here, is the invoice register. And so that, just a couple of things to mention at the bottom of the Baker and Taylor entry where it says 2 large print books, there's a 7122 credit. That's actually because the way the new system works, if we put in an invoice and there's a mistake, it stays on. We can't actually get rid of it. They have to take care of it in the finance office. So it had gone through earlier, and then this is actually taking it off of the invoice, which is why there's a credit there. All the other things, the 4429 credit is actually from Baker and Taylor for the what they call sustainable shelves, which we send them books that have been weeded. Some of them, they tell us which ones they'll accept, and then they give us a credit for those books.
How long does that process usually take, Chris, to credit back?
It's, I think within, Donia scans she puts in the codes of the books and then the ISBN number, and then they tell us what they'll accept. It's week turnaround or so. And then they send us shipping labels, and then we ship them off. We used to get more. It's actually, we've been getting less and less all the time, so we may actually not do that anymore because they're taking so few books now that it's not worth the time. When it gets to that point where Donia's putting in more time than we're getting money back, then we'll probably quit that, unless Baker and Taylor just stops doing it sooner than that. The other stuff, Mother Earth magazine under EBSCO on that first page, Mother Earth news went up $22 a year, so we got an invoice from EBSCO for that. What else? The MasterCard stuff doesn't tell you where things are from, and it actually doesn't break things down quite as much as they should. If you look at the Quicken City Register, which is the next one, it gives it in a little more detail. And if, in fact, let me make, that stuff should all be updated. Yeah, and then, the last thing on the invoice register is actually an invoice for Rushmore office supply, and that's been taken off because that had already been paid. And so that got taken off the register today after we looked at it. As far as other stuff, yeah, some of the MasterCard stuff is explained on the city budget. The Amazon, the first Amazon charge was for a variety of things, books and computers and stuff. What else? Some replacement computers from B&H Video, and then some software from TechSoup, and a replacement hotspot for the one that was lost is the TechSoup order. So that's all of that. So it looks a little confusing if you try to look at the two different registers, but the one from the city is not necessarily what's been paid, but what's been submitted to be paid. So we may be able to change that to where it would have an indication if it had been paid or not. I think Joanne's looking into that to see if that's something.
We know why it changed or why it looks different?
A new system.
Okay.
We're using a system that's part of our timesheet and everything else. We use Cassell, and so everything's integrated more completely than it was before, and it's going to streamline everything once everybody gets used to it. And so we're still in the process of getting all that working. But yes, yeah. In fact, I think Lee has it right now and is reading it. Yeah.
Interesting.
No, Fadness? Yeah, Arlie Fadness is the one who wrote it. We purchased it from him. I don't know if it's self-published or not, but yeah. Yeah, we've got a picture in the library of a funeral in Lead, and all the members are up there, and yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
How long ago
it was
was
a big
that?
part of Sturgis history, actually, yeah. But actually, and what people, I think, don't understand is that around here, it was more, anti-Catholic than race-based. It was really religion-based, at least in this part of the country. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so you'll have to ask Lee. I think he said the writing maybe isn't fantastic, but it's got a lot of great information in it, so that's good. All right, so that's city stuff. Memorial miscellaneous is all pretty straightforward. One of the people who's doing an art class for us lost her first check, so I had to write her another one. But other than that, I think things are all pretty good.
Chris, there's one for
B&H photo and video for repairs and maintenance
Yes.
for 1170.
Yeah, that's replacement computers for the replacement public computers. Yeah. Yeah, the way the budget was set up was a little bit misleading,
Okay. there we
but
go.
that's what it's for, yeah. One of the MasterCard payments was for a couple of public computers that were updated. We've got, I think, 2 more to update this year, I think. And then we'll be in good shape. Let's see, what else? We did transfer the 10,000 from checking into savings. So that's taken care of. The Dunn Trust is plugging along, and yeah. I think that's about it for that stuff.
All right. Just give me a minute to,
You bet, you bet. Cover that.
And the funds that we transferred to savings, those came from,
That's stuff that we've built up over the past, I don't know how many years. I mean, the checking account has been sitting anywhere from, I don't know, 9 to 15 or 16,000 since I've been here. And, it never, I don't think it's ever dropped down below 9.
okay,
Because there's money that, and I don't know where all of that money originally came from, but the stuff as far as when I've been here, mainly it's grant money, which is in and out. Money from Raleigh Charities for programming goes into checking, and so the summer reading program stuff comes out of that account. And then just money that comes in for copying and laminating and fines for equipment and lost books, all that kind of stuff goes into checking.
okay, so this was additional monies that you just decided to put into savings, or that was decided to?
Yeah, what we decided is that instead of it just sitting in the checking account, since we spend very little out of that on a monthly basis, that it would be better sitting in savings earning interest.
Absolutely,
And then if we have a need,
fair.
something could always go back over, but, yeah.
and that
But like I
was,
said, typically what comes out of that account is what's been put in through donations or through grants or, the day-to-day operations. Yeah,
Good, and a self-funding account.
yes.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's the point. I mean, that's what we try, yeah. Try to do with that one.
All right. Any other questions after reviewing the financial report? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve. It's been moved
Second.
and seconded by Lance. All those in favor of approving the financial report signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. And Kelly is giving a thumbs up, I think, online, so we're good. Motion approved. All right, Chris, Director's Report.
Okay, so you can see all the statistics. Everything's pretty much on track for the year. The Libby might be up a little bit. It continues to grow in popularity kind of every year. And we can talk about that more when we look at the annual report. And interlibrary loan is down just because of all the courier issues. But that will be changing here soon. The high school art show is probably down by now. They came in this afternoon to take it down. Quilt show goes up next week. And I have to say, I almost got in trouble today because somebody was, they had a stack of quilts they were bringing in, and I mentioned to Kathy, I said, now, is it written down anywhere that I get to take these home and try them out to see if they work? Boy, the woman looked at me like, what are you doing? I said, I'm just joking, I'm just joking. But I felt like maybe that should be one of the criteria. Quilters do not have a great sense of humor. At least when it comes to using their quilts.
Yeah,
And yeah, I get that, I get
all
that.
the work
but
that goes into
anyway,
it.
we have 25 so far, which is great. So, and in the two categories, we've got the bed quilts, and then we've got decorative quilts. So I know we've got some table runners in and some other things. So, yeah, it should be a great, great show this year.
Kelly
So
will
that's
probably
going
have
up
some,
next
yeah.
week, and that'll be all through April. We continue to have quite a few meetings in the library as far as non-library sanctioned meetings, just people using rooms for stuff that almost every day we've got somebody using at least one room, if not more. So that's kind of neat. Our regular programming, the coding, we've added another coding class for younger kids, so not middle school, but younger than that, and that seems to be going pretty well. Yeah, all the other stuff is pretty standard. The facility updates, we did get the ballast in the study room fixed, so all those lights are on now. The leak in the roof drain outside the community room was fixed. No damage anywhere, so that was all good. And I think I sent you guys this, but I can't remember. I did get the estimate for flooring in the room, and so did I send that to you guys?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so 11,928 for everything back there except the bathroom, and then the bathroom is an additional 3,900 if we wanted to get that tile taken out. I'll have to find out from Becca if that was mentioned to the city council. I think with everything else that was coming down, that probably got put on the back burner. So I'm assuming it'll be after the new council gets put in that we can talk to the city about helping us out with that in some form. I think this one's old too. The replacing chairs at the public computers. There are a couple that I actually need to order because there are a couple of chairs that are falling apart. But I think I've got it down to like a couple of models that we'll have to take a look at and decide which ones we want to get. Hard plastic instead of fabric, and easier to clean, and hopefully a little more durable. Some of the ones in there I think were kind of cheap Amazon office chairs, that kind of thing, and so they're just not holding up at all. So we'll get on that once, probably in another couple months. I didn't get an estimate for carpet cleaning yet. I still need to do that. I'm assuming it's going to be probably 500. It was, I think, almost 4 last time it was done a couple years ago. So I'm assuming it'll probably be around 500, and that would come out of the building maintenance fund. So we'll see what's going on with that when we get there. On Track is no longer in South Dakota, which was our courier service. And they were a courier service for other things as well, but they've pulled out of the state entirely. They're just not going to be in South Dakota anymore. So that threw everything for a loop, but George Seaman, the state librarian, found a couple of companies that sent in proposals, and the courier service that we're looking at has been around for a while. They're just getting started in South Dakota, so they're eager for the business. He got recommendations from some of their clients, which were all excellent. So that's going to start up barring any last-minute issues, on April 22nd. So courier service will resume for the state on the 22nd of April. The tubs that we use to transport books all belong to Minitex. Minitex said, well, all we're really doing is acting as an intermediary between On Track and the state library anyway, so we're not really interested in continuing doing that because there isn't any reason really for them to do that. So we won't be working with them anymore either. So they want their tubs back, but they're giving us about a year to slowly get those from all the libraries back to Minnesota. So the state library here is purchasing tubs for us to use and also courier bags for smaller. If you've only got one or two things, you can put it in a bag instead of a tub, which will make it easier to transport. So they're going to be purchasing some of that stuff, and we'll be getting that over the next year. And then Cindy Orr, who was going to do the Black Hills Consortium deliveries, will be starting on the 22nd. So she will pick up stuff from the courier as it brings it across the state to Rapid City, and then she'll distribute it for the consortium along the interstate, and she's going to Custer once a week as well. So it's good to have a local person. And she used to work here, and so she and her husband are kind of excited to do this. So, yeah, and she called her company Rolling Tomes, is the name of the company. So, yeah, so they should be starting up at the end of April as well. So, and twice a week, so we should be back to 2-day-a-week courier service,
And that
which will be great.
expense is coming from the consortium?
The state library, no, the
State
state
library.
library is, because the state library paid for the courier, and they're paying for all of this as well. So, yeah, so no cost to us, because it's part of the state interlibrary loan system. And so, yeah, so that's good. The annual report is finished, and we'll talk about that in a minute. I did start putting together a list of donations and gifts. And some of those it's a little bit hard to tell if the money came in and then has gone back out, or if there's money left in some of those accounts. So I'm trying to figure that out now, and probably will end up sending Julie an email with everything listed and have her see what she can remember as far as some of that stuff. So we're getting closer to having a list of what money is in the savings and what it's earmarked for. So still working on that. The hotspot that we lost will be coming when I renew all of the other hotspots. I think in May is when they're all due, so we'll get that up and running then. The South Dakota regional training that was going to be in Sturgis on Monday was canceled because of the weather, so that actually didn't happen. The Black Hills Library Consortium mini conference is in Rapid on April 22nd, which is a Monday. It's open to board members as well as staff, and we have an action item here to see about closing the library so we can go to that. And that's, it's just, they cover all sorts of different things. Sierra and I are doing a panel on programming along with a couple other librarians, so that's cool. Leah's doing something on historical collections in libraries. So, so that's great too. So we're actually not just showing up to the conference, but we're involved in the conference as well. So that's, yeah, that's kind of cool. And if any of you want to go, I can send you the agenda so you can see or the scheduled events so you can see what's going on. And if you want to pop in for something, you can definitely do that. You do have to sign up, but it's no cost. We did have an incident a couple weeks ago with a community member who's been trespassed from the library. It was his behavior. He was coming into the library fairly often, and his behavior, we noticed, was getting worse kind of each time he came in. And so it finally got to a point where He was trespassed, not only from here, but other, I don't know if he was ever trespassed from City Hall or, no, but Public Works and a lot of businesses. So I haven't seen him since then. So hopefully that issue has resolved itself, but it was, yeah, it was unfortunate. But it happens, and everybody's okay, and so we got that taken care of. So that is, yeah, everything that's been going on.
Or if anyone wants to go.
Or to close the library?
Oh, yeah. So yeah, let's discuss that for that.
Discuss,
For the mini conference, and because you talked about on April 22nd,
yes,
you are going to invite all staff to attend?
yes.
Yeah, so I think discussion from the board of, and getting approval.
I think that's under, is that under new business?
Oh, is it already somewhere else?
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I put it under new business since I knew it was an
Perfect.
actionable item. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
So I have a quick question, Chris, just
Yes.
to, under programming, knowing that you're doing more, adding more stuff, which is awesome. And I know a while ago, talking with some of the staff members, do they feel like there's enough support now as far as the employees that you have? Do you have enough people to support the programs that you have? I mean,
Yeah,
okay, I'm just asking, because
Yeah.
I just know that that's a good thing. We want to have more programs, and
Yeah.
numbers are going up, and so just wanted to see
yeah.
if they feel
Yeah,
like
hiring
they're
a
overworked
second
or-
part-time person has worked really well. Cindy's doing a lot of stuff
Good.
with kids programming.
Yeah.
She's taken over the Tuesday toddler story time. So she does that.
So she's kind of flexible in what she's doing.
Yeah, and then she helps out with other programs with prep and stuff. So
Great.
yeah, it's worked out really well.
All right, good.
Yeah.
So you feel like with what you have, sustaining and able to support everything?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I don't think we can grow much, but I mean, we're offering, something almost every day, so
Great.
it's,
Yes,
so I think that's working out really well.
perfect.
And I think Sierra has some great stuff
Yes.
planned for the summer, so, yeah. So
Love
we'll
her
see how
unique
that goes.
ideas.
She did in fact, she did a training last week for area libraries for the summer reading program. Jumpstart training was here, and she had some people tell her that they thought it was a much better training than there's been in the past.
Great.
So, yeah, so she's doing a great job with that stuff. And she went to Austin to South by Southwest has an education conference. And she went to that a couple weeks ago and came back with a whole list of ideas and yeah. She was disappointed because she missed seeing LeVar Burton because of her flight.
Oh, no.
But she said she hung around outside the ballroom before she had to leave, just in case he showed up early. Knowing that, yeah, it doesn't quite work that way. But anyway, yeah, she got a lot of great ideas. Educational, it's all built around, some of the key themes this time around were early literacy. So she's trying to figure out how to kind of incorporate that into the programming that we're doing, as well as just kind of reinforcing the stuff that she's doing now with needs and noodles and that kind of life skills based training as well. And we talked about maybe adding a parent component to some of the story time. So while the kids are doing an activity, then the parents can learn about either resources in the area or current trends in behavior management or nutrition or whatever. So we may try to start incorporating that. That might, we'll see. It'll depend.
Great. Great
But,
idea.
yeah, so we had talked about some of that too. But anyway, so yeah, all sorts of great stuff. Oh, and some of you guys, I didn't put this down, but some of you had talked about the idea of a seed library, which
I had found an article in
is-
some magazine, so yeah.
really a lot more complex than people just leaving their old seeds behind for other people to use. I mean, it's like people with heirloom seeds who have to self-pollinate or they have to pollinate them and all this. I mean, it can get really pretty crazy. But I did talk to Tom Termes, who is one of the people that does the community garden, and he thought that was kind of an interesting idea. And one of the sessions at the mini conference in April, Custer has a seed library, and so they're talking about that. So I can get some more information on that, and then we can decide if that's something that we want to pursue. Because I thought the community library had one. They don't have a seed library. I think they do some sharing. They try to get together and swap, but nothing like this. And so it's out of my area of expertise.
It's out
So
of
it
my
would
area
take
too.
somebody.
I was just reading an article and I
Yeah.
saw it and I'm like, what a great idea for a
Yeah,
library.
it's been around for a while.
But I'm quite sure that if there's a lot more work and staff
Well,
can't
and
support it, then,
And I think some of them are just basically, well, here's some seeds that people have donated, take what you want. I mean, that's at its basic level. But then you get people who are trading heirloom seeds and all that
Fancy.
stuff. And it can get, but I mean, if there's interest,
and who knows, maybe there'll be a
could
volunteer
maybe
in the
carve
community
out-
that would like to do that.
I think that's, for us to do it, we would have to have a volunteer to come in
Absolutely.
and run it. Because none of us are green enough in our thumbs to
Not me.
really do
Gallons,
that.
a
So.
stretch, right?
That's, well, and that, we just take them and try to keep them alive for the week they're there.
Yeah, I love that.
But anyway, so yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But, so there'll be more about that later.
Perfect. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
Any questions on the board report from anybody? All right, unfinished, let me look, where are we at? Unfinished business, the second reading of the hotspot policy.
Yes.
Any changes since last time?
No changes since last time.
I'll move to approve. Final reading.
That was fast, all right. It has been moved and seconded to approve the second reading of the hotspot policy with no changes from the first reading. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries.
Good. So I was going to include an updated policy manual for you guys, since we've been doing a lot of updating, and then I realized, well, if this is gonna get changed, then I just have to send you another one.
Yeah.
So I'll put these changes in, and then over the next couple of weeks, I'll send you an electronic copy of what we have as far as a complete policy. I'm not sure what's up next in the rotation as far as updating stuff. I'll have to look, but I don't think there are any policies that we still need to, I guess, talk about the room use policy for the community room. That would probably be the next one, but so probably at the next meeting, we'll talk about some ideas that you guys have for that.
And we're on board. I'm just trying to think
thoughts.
from the last state library training that was here. We're on board with what their expectations were of having the policies updated and, right?
Yeah, well, and yeah, I mean, I think the idea is, and I have a schedule, like every few years, we'll go through all of the policies to see if there's anything that needs to be changed. So the idea would be every meeting, there might be a policy that we can look at and say, yeah, this is all good. So we're constantly looking at them to make sure that they're doing what they need to. And if there are any changes, then we would, but a lot of those, I don't think they're really big changes that we need. Yeah.
Perfect, thank you. All right, new business. All right, so here we go to the request for your staff to attend that Black Hills Library Consortium mini-conference to ask if the
Yeah.
library can be closed on April 22nd. So I would just ask the board to thoughtfully consider, and April 22nd, that is a Monday.
Yeah,
Okay.
we did the same thing last year, and it was, yeah, it was useful. It was good to see what other libraries are doing and to talk about stuff. and-
Absolutely.
And kind of see how things are.
And it's
are
free, you
going.
said. So
It's
there's
free,
no
yep,
fee.
yep. The
And it's
Rapid Library
closed.
puts it on,
And
gives everybody lunch.
we don't have to do per diem or anything
Nope.
since there's, okay,
No, and it basically lasts 8 hours, so it's a day,
gotcha.
yeah.
Any discussion or questions from the board
It'll be
members?
posted on the doors and
Yeah.
on social media.
Social media?
Yep.
All right, well, I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
It's been moved,
Second.
moved and seconded to approve the closure of the public library on Monday, April 22nd, for the staff to attend the Black Hills Library Consortium mini-conference in Rapid City. So that's been approved. Oh,
You
I
gotta
gotta
vote
vote.
on it first.
Sorry. Yeah.
That's
Ooh,
okay.
it's like a Monday today. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Have fun, and we'd love to hear about it.
Yeah.
Cricket, I think you and I attended one year with Julie in Rapid.
Yes. Yeah, I wish I could this year, but I'll be in South Carolina at Myrtle Beach, so,
Darn.
yeah, darn it. I know, right?
Well, we could FaceTime the whole day if you want.
Yeah. It's for work, so it's nothing for fun. All right, so let's talk about the survey results.
All right. So I don't think it's necessary to go through everything line by line. But there were just a couple of, I guess a couple of things kind of interesting.
Noteworthy.
And there'll be once we submit it, we'll get like a short review of some stuff, and then there's it'll generate a pamphlet that I'll give you guys that has some of the key things that are, shows us versus the rest of the state and some of that data to see what's going on. The biggest changes were in, holdings, but that's because there was a mistake a couple of years ago with the number of holdings, because it looked like it went up like 10,000 or something, and it's like, yeah, we didn't add 10,000 things last year, and it was, the report used to generate in the past has some quirks to it, and so you don't get accurate numbers. So I figured that out, we got that all taken care of, but the page 25 has the library holdings, so we have, almost 50,000 books and almost 36,000 ebooks, which is the biggest change. And that's going to continue probably, gosh, maybe even by next year, we'll have more ebooks than we have physical books. I would anticipate that happening. We have 58 subscriptions, which is pretty good. We may need to revisit that with some of the newspapers going up in price. The Argus Leader is up to $700 a year now,
Ouch.
which is, yeah, pretty
Is that daily?
substantial.
Is that a daily paper?
5 days a week, I think. Maybe 6, but I don't think it's 6 anymore. And yeah, well, and I think, well, the cost of an online subscription for us being a library, I think, is probably close to that as well. And available, I'm not sure if we can do that separate, but we may look at that for at least that newspaper. But anyway, and there are some other magazines we've gotten in the past that now are online only. So that model is changing as well, and we'll just see. Yeah, so total holdings 109,000, which is, I think, pretty good for a library our size. Circulation numbers, like I said, physical circulation on the next page is 35,800. Electronic circulation is 25,000. So that's going up quite a bit as well, and that's basically Libby. And then where it dropped was database use is actually down from the past, and I think that's because during COVID it spiked because it was the only option a lot of people had. And so now that that's done, I think that's why those numbers are settling. And they may settle a little more. We'll see. It might stay the same though with, depending on the Medici use. We'll have to see how that goes. But that would get included in electronic collection use for next year. So, yeah. So for a town of 6,000 and we have 63,000 checkouts, that's pretty good. I think. And then you can see our number of programs were great. Crossroads helped with the adult programming, so that number will go down this year. Anyway, yeah, we had great numbers there. Internet sessions, I think were about the same, so that's people using Wi-Fi inside or outside of the library. So 41,000 visits to the website, 24,000 wireless sessions. That 41,000 website visits is a little, well, that's the number, but that's not necessarily the number of people that used it, because we had like a few thousand from overseas, which who knows why. It could be rally related, although this is people that went to the public library Blogspot, that actually went to our Blogspot website and visited. Well, right, and it could be, right. So that could be some of it. You don't get much more data than that, so it's just kind of interesting to see. But wireless sessions, like I said, 24,000 wireless sessions is, I think, about where we were last year as well. Interlibrary loan numbers, of course, are lower because of the whole courier issue. Let's see. Oh, yeah, and then the back couple of pages, page 31, 32, 33, well, 31 anyway. Page 31 has changes, or they have, ratios, so you can kind of look at how things were. I haven't looked at this a whole lot because, well, it's still a draft, and we'll get that submitted here, and then we'll get better information. But so, yeah, all in all, I think good numbers, and yeah.
Chris, I have a question.
You bet.
It seems in years past, maybe not, that we've gotten previous years listed so we can see like where we were last year on these first few pages. So they're just side-by-side columns.
Right.
Would that be possible?
I'm not sure, because it changed a little bit, because I tried to generate a report like that, and I wasn't able to. I don't know if that's because it hasn't been submitted yet. That report might not be available until the report's actually been officially locked in and submitted.
Since this is just like. the
Because
draft.
Not a final one. Maybe they are waiting for a final.
So that may be a reason. Yeah, but in the past, yes, there was a report that had side by side.
I thought I remembered that.
Yeah,
Just easier to kind of.
yeah, because that's what I was gonna, like I said, that's what I was gonna print for you guys, and then I wasn't able to find out.
Okay.
Because before you clicked on it and boom, there it was.
So
So-
we have to go back and do our own research.
You could, once it's submitted, then, well, and yeah, and it's a little bit different because the state uses this new system that the educators use, Canva, right? Canvas? Canva, yeah, Canva is this new system. And so before, it was kind of open to anybody. I could send you the link, you could open it up and look at all the data. Now I have to log in before I can open up the data. So it's a little bit different. But if I can generate a report, I will definitely do that, because it's helpful for me as well as you guys to see how things are changing over
And seeing
time.
trends too, that's good to see.
Right,
Definitely.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah.
you bet. So, yeah, so that's that. So I guess, yeah, Cricket, if you're good with it, then I can go ahead and put you down. Mark Marshall looked at it, so somebody from the transition team administratively
I
has
had
looked
emailed, I
at
don't
it.
know if you got my email saying that I did
Yes.
look at it. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I did look at it before, so.
Yeah,
Do
so,
I need to sign anything, or is it?
no, there isn't a signature page now.
Okay.
There, you just type in who looked at it and
Gotcha.
date it, and that's it. So I can go ahead and do that.
I don't think so.
It's, yeah, it's on page 30. You just type in whoever did it. And, yeah, and I may have been that way last year too.
Oh,
I don't think we had to upload a signature. I think it was still just a matter
Yeah.
of somebody looking at it.
And when do you send this in then?
I'll probably do it tomorrow.
Okay.
It's due, I think, next Wednesday. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I'll see if I can get that side-by-side report, because that's what I think I gave to the council last year.
I was gonna
that
say,
same thing.
probably,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it might be beneficial to wait until after you submit it, and when we get that follow-up from them, that might be better for them to see.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do we need to vote?
It's actually nothing to vote on because it's, you're the one that approves it. Although I guess if you wanted to have the board approve it, you could.
To have my back? It doesn't hurt, especially since the city council's gonna look at it, all you wonderful people out there. So, board, has everyone had the opportunity to review the survey that Chris put together with all the great data from our
Lovely library.
lovely library?
Yes.
All right, I will entertain a motion.
Also moved.
All right, it's been moved
All second?
and seconded. All those in favor of the draft copy to be submitted for the annual survey?
With your
Signify
signature.
with my signature and, or not signature, name on it and Chris's. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Thank you, Kelly. All right, and so motion is approved. And so I think if it is okay, can we move into executive session?
Yeah,
Okay, unless you had anything else to follow up?
no.
Oh, financial. Legal. Lisa. All right, we are back. Are there any other matters that need to come before the board? Anyone in our audience out there? No? No one's coming forward, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It has been moved. Thank you, everybody.